Welcome. Now I know the name of this video is California Fire 9/11 bags, but I'm going to cover all sorts of emergency situations that don't pertain to calling 911. I'm talking about the type of situations that are probably going to be natural hazards and force you out of your home. I'm also going to be covering why exactly it's important to have these bags packed. Also, the plans that you and your family should have. And I'm going to try to do so and try to encompass every sort of topography's dangers that they face. I know not every place is on fire like California right now, so I'm not going to just assume that people should only pack these bags for fires because they shouldn't. They should pack them for floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, everything. I mean, even down to these major power outages that California is seeing. People just need to have these bags and these plans made. And this video is going to explain why and also maybe help you think of the important things that need to be in these bags. I'm also going to be talking about pets because one of my biggest pet peeves is finding out that people abandoned their animals, their beloved pets, in these times of emergencies. And it breaks my heart to think about all the poor wild animals that get affected by these fires and these natural disasters. So, I'm also going to be talking about the pets, your family, the plan, and the bags. Let's begin. I'm going to start with the why. The why should I have a plan? Because people panic and you need to be able to calm the chaos, because when people panic, they're going to not all do the same thing and they're going to waste a lot of time, a lot of precious time. Number two, so people know their role in the evacuation plan. It's not going to be successful if you have two people running to get the car ready. Have everyone have their own specific role, have everyone know the meeting spots, and have a plan B. Number three is this is the only sure way to ensure your family's safety and that everyone gets out in time and that everyone can be together in this time of crisis. What should be in my plan? As previously stated, have everyone have their own individual responsibilities. Have one person who's in charge of getting the car ready. Have another be responsible for grabbing all the emergency bags. Maybe have another be responsible for gathering all, maybe the children, if there are any in your house, or the pets. Number two, meeting spots. This is especially important if you're taking more than one car or if you guys somehow get split up or if someone's not at the house at the moment. I suggest having more than one for different scenarios. Number three is phone numbers. Now, most people are going to have their immediate family's numbers in their cell phones, but for cases of kids, young kids that do not have cell phones, it's important to make sure that they know certain people's phone numbers, like their grandmas, their moms, their dads, also brothers and sisters. But even if it's not for kids, you never know what exact situation you're going to face. So it's important to have maybe neighbors' numbers, also distant relatives' numbers. It's also important, I feel, to make a plan with your neighbors if you have young kids that stay home after school when you're at work. Number four is you have to make your plan physical, i.e., write it down, make copies, make a booklet of it, whatever you have to do. Just make sure it's waterproof. Reasons that you must make a physical plan is because you and your family are supposed to practice it. Practice your emergency evacuation plan as often as possible, especially if you have younger children, so that they get the hang of it and everyone has it memorized. Also, if you have the younger children without the cell phones, you can write these important phone numbers in the booklet itself. So, to sum this portion of it up, you basically need individual roles, different meeting spots, everybody's phone numbers, make the plan physical, have plan Bs, and practice. Now, moving on to the emergency bags. If for some reason you can't or won't make an emergency plan, don't sweat it too much because the bags are way more important to have. And I like to use the Goldilocks method of choosing which bags to use, meaning make sure it's not too big or not too small. I know everybody's all in love with their Loungefly Disney backpacks, but way too small. You're going to want to go for something a little more versatile, something with a lot of pockets, because you're going to need to organize the things that you're packing. You just don't want it in one giant bag. Also, these bags by Eddie Bauer are amazing. They're huge, they're awesome. They run about $60. If you want something a little more girly, even something simple like this, as long as it has lots of pockets. And now for what you should pack in your bags. To start, I'll go with the prescriptions and medications. If you or anyone in your home is on any sort of prescription medication, whether it be antibiotics, something for a mental illness, even an inhaler, prescription prescription glasses, contacts, any of it, just have some set aside, put it in the bag. Also, I think it's important to have a first aid kit. You don't need anything super fancy or huge, just, something basic. This is very similar to the one that I personally have. And, just, the basics, some band-aids, antiseptics, gauze, the tape, scissors, stuff like that. I also think it's important to take basic medications like Tylenol, Advil, cold medicine, cough syrup, and of course a basic thermometer. The next item on my list are lots of flashlights. Every type of flashlight, LED, normal, handheld, hangable, all of them. But the flashlight is only important if you have all the batteries. I advise to take tons and tons and tons and tons of batteries. Also, backup batteries that are already charged for your phones, which brings me to charging ports and charging cords for every sort of device that you would need. Also, ham radios, they will be very handy. Also, some strong rope, it'll come in handy, and a deluxe Swiss Army knife or something to the equivalent of. This way, you don't have to pack all these individual tools and knives, and it's all right there. Also, a compass. We can't rely completely on technology, so a good old school compass is perfect. Some disposable raincoats for everyone in your family. Make them disposable just because, one-time use. This one right here is my personal favorite because it has reflectors on the ends of it. Woo! And speaking of reflectors, we're going to need a mirror also, but not for your makeup, for emergency reflecting situations. It's a signal mirror. And talking about signaling, we're going to need some flares, some good old-fashioned shoot up in the air flares, where you have to use a flare gun. My personal favorite, you can get the ones that, go on the floor, but if you're trying to signal somebody in the air and you're at a far distance, the gun is the best way to go. These new battery-operated lights, I don't like so much, but if you don't like fire, unlike me, you can go ahead and get these at your local hardware store. Get some waterproof matches. These ones I've personally used. You can get them at Walmart. They work amazingly. They're windproof and waterproof. A whistle, so you can signal for help if, say, your car gets stuck, you get stuck, you fall in a sinkhole. I'm trying to encompass every scenario here, so it's going to seem like a lot, but they're important, trust me. Sunblock. This sunblock I use every day, all day, because I live in California and it's fucking bright out here, and this is 100 SPF. You should always get at least above a 50. Excuse me. Also, some bug spray, because nobody likes those pesky little things called bugs. Nobody wants to get bit, so have some to deter them. Next thing on my list are personal documents. These are going to be things like birth certificates, marriage licenses, deeds to your home, loans, mortgages, all sorts of things. Here's a little list. It's a little blurry, but here's a list that I found online of things, important documents that you should keep and collect. If you do take them, you should also probably invest in a waterproof box for these documents and or your phones. I know that this already seems like a lot of stuff, but most of this stuff you can keep in your car, like the rope, the compass, the disposable rain jackets, the first aid kit, the Swiss Army knife, things of that nature. This is why I also suggest that each adult have 2 bags of their own so that you can pack all these things and then all the stuff I'm about to talk about. Which isn't really too much because it's kind of just the no-brainer stuff. Like, obviously, clothes. You need clothes, change of underwear, socks, pants, shirts, everything, and do it appropriate for the weather. Meaning, if it's cold where you are, take beanies and gloves, things of that nature. Also, blankets and a pillow, maybe even a tent. I'm not too sure. Depends on the situation, like I said, but clothes, very important. So are towels and blankies. Last thing I'm going to talk about is food. You should obviously have an emergency bag of food that is set in its own specific bag that someone is in charge of grabbing. The things you should pack are things like trail mix, crackers, things that are non-perishable, things that are really easy to keep, canned foods, stuff like that. My main thing is trail mix, granola bars, things like that, because they give you lots of energy and they're easy snacking. You don't need like plates and stuff like that for them. So anything real grainy, and don't take things like fruit and milk. Don't do that, but do have some extra water that is clean and set aside. Also, I think you should have gasoline in some cans set aside as well. Obviously not to eat. I know I threw that into the food section, but I mean for the vehicles, obviously. Wow, yeah, sorry about how many obviously's I have said in this whole video, but that about sums it up for this video. I know it's extremely long and it's not very pretty to look at, and my voice is probably all over the place, but who gives a shit? And, take it for what it is. Thanks. Please like and share. Bye.